Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Muninam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayanim Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Devyaistavai Vedai Sangapadakramopaniषदैः Gayanti Yam Samagaः Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidut surasuraganah Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My humble pranams to you all. So in this 14th chapter, Bhagavan Shri Krishna continues the topic that he had briefly mentioned in the 13th chapter. Purusha Prakriti Sthohi Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Guna Sangosya Sadasad Yoni Janmasu. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna had said that Purusha is the spirit, the life principle, the consciousness, staying in Prakriti, even though it is supposed to be separate, but gets involved and forgets its true nature, and then starts enjoying and experiencing, enjoying, suffering, experiencing all the gunas of Prakriti, and thinks they are my problems. And because of these attachments, then it does good and bad actions, and then is born in good and bad yonis, good and bad birth, good and bad families, good and bad life. So all these problems occur in life for this individual because of his or her wrong identification. I am that Purusha, I am that consciousness, but being attached to Prakriti, thinking that is me, I get bound, and that's how life goes on. And he had just briefly mentioned that in one shloka, but in the 14th chapter, Bhagwan expounds on that one particular shloka, Prakriti Jan Gunan. And that's what the whole 14th chapter talks about, gunas. After talking about creation and the glory of this knowledge, Bhagwan tells us there are three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. And what are the qualities of each guna, which we will discuss a little more today. how they affect us, how we act under the influence of gunas, how they bind us, how we get caught, and how not only it affects our present life, but even our future life, what birth I have. So my present outcome and my future outcome is dependent on where I spend my time. Do I spend it in sattva, which is purity and knowledge? Do I spend it in rajas, passion, action, selfishness? Or do I spend it in tamas, heedlessness, laziness? And then he, and then he told us that I will tell you how to go beyond these gunas. And he says that very beautifully. He says, Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drashta anupashyati gunebhyascha param veti mad bhavam sodhi gacchati. So one who in these gunas sees the non-doing self, that is me. I am the self and I am functioning and the gunas are acting, but I am not. One who stays in that knowledge comes to me. Mad bhavam saha adhi gacchati, Bhagavan says. So that is the best cure, that do your actions, whatever your gunas require at that moment, whatever is needed, but never forget that I am that consciousness, and that whether it's Lord Shiva or Rama or Krishna, they are not separate from me. I am that. And then such a person remains unaffected, vimokshati. He says he goes beyond all this sukha, dukkha, joys and sorrows. How does that happen? The example they gave is space. You may have as much heavy rain as possible, or there may be, pollution, smoke, dust, dirt in the air. But does space get affected? No. Space sustains everything. That does not get affected. The air gets dirty, air gets wet, but space never gets wet. So similarly, the consciousness, which is even subtler than space and is my true nature, does not get affected by all these dirt, qualifications, all these problems. So that is the issue. And here, it's like Bhagwan Shri Krishna is like a good doctor. We have gone to him and we have our complaints. Bhagwan, I have problems. I have so many sorrows. I have physical problems, emotional problems, intellectual problems, financial problems. Stock market is going down. So all these problems I have. So Bhagwan says, you have given me the disease and the signs and symptoms. Bhagwan knows. Now he says, I'll give you the solution, how to go back to health. From ill health, ill health is physical, mental, intellectual, emotional, all those. So Bhagwan, like a good doctor, is going to give us a prescription. And it starts by Arjuna asking three very beautiful questions, which we had covered last week. He says, Arjuna uvacha kairlingais trin gunan itan atito bhavati prabho kim achara katham chaitan trin gunan ati vartate. So Arjuna says, what are the lingas? What are the qualities? How can I recognize a man of wisdom? One who has gone beyond the three gunas, gunatit, that is called. How can I recognize them? And in earlier chapters, Bhagavan had called them as Jnani, Yogi, all those, all these other qualifications had mentioned in the Sthita Prajna and so on. So now he calls him Gunatit, one who has gone beyond the gunas. How am I to recognize them? Then secondly, Kim Achara, how does this person conducts himself or herself in the world? How does this person work in the world? Which he had also asked in this second chapter about Sthita Prajna. And then third question, which is very practical, Arjuna asked, which we also want to know, how does one go beyond the three gunas? How can I go beyond the bondage of the gunas? How the gunas are persecuting me, but how can I go beyond it? It's like I have a disease. Now I go to the doctor, give me a prescription, give me medicine. So the shlokas today and then next week will talk about how to go beyond the gunas and what are the qualities of a gunati. So that will be covered in the next 3-4 shlokas, and then next week we'll end the 14th chapter. There are 6 shlokas left, and then the week after that we'll start chapter number 15. So we'll chant the shloka number 22, chapter 14, shloka number 22. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Prakashancha Pravrittincha
Prakashancha Pravrittincha
Mohameva cha Pandava
Mohameva cha Pandava
Nadveshti Sampravrittani
Nadvesti Samapravruttani
Nivrittani Kankshati.
Nanivruttani Kankshati.
Yeah, together. You can please unmute. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakashancha Pravrittincha Mohameva cha
Pandava
Nadveshti Sampravrittani Nivrittani Kankshati. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, so Shri Bhagavan, Shri Krishna is answering these 3 very beautiful, very pertinent questions, which also might have arisen in our mind, but we do not express them, which Arjuna is doing for us. So we have to be grateful to Arjuna for asking these questions, which are our doubts also. So Bhagavan answers very beautifully. Shri Bhagavan Uvach, that is the past tense. He spoke. Uvach means he spoke a long time ago, because Bhagavad Gita is a very ancient text, several thousand years old. So that's why they are not using the immediate past, but the long ago past, Uvacha. And he says there are 3 qualities, which he had talked in the previous shlokas also. Prakasham means light. That means knowledge, intelligence. That is sattva. So prakasham cha. Cha means and. When he says cha, I'll talk about why he says cha. Then pravrittim cha. And pravrittim means activity. That is rajas, passion, activity. And moham, delusion, eva. Delusion alone, cha, pandava. Pandava, O Arjuna. So these 3 qualities, sattva in the form of prakasha, rajas in the form of pravritti, and tamas in the form of moha, they may come, and they do come to even to a wise person, even an enlightened master has all these 3 qualities in him or her, they don't go away. But na dveshti sampravrittani, even if he is in sattva, if rajas or tamas comes, na dveshti, he doesn't hate it, doesn't get angry why this has come. And na nivrittani kankshati. And suppose he was in sattvic mood, or he had something very good going on, and then that mood goes away, or something he loved has gone away. He doesn't long for it, desire for it. Things will come and go. Nothing in this life is permanent. Things will come, things will go. Sattva will come, sattva will go. Rajas will come, tamas will come. They will come and go. So he does not hate things and does not long for things. That means he has gone beyond likes and dislikes, raga and dvesha. Why does Bhagavan say cha? Cha means sattva is accompanied by other things. There is purity, there is light of knowledge, there is intelligence, there is clear vision, there is wisdom. So that is cha. And rajas has pravritti, activity, passion, greed, selfishness, wanting, acquiring, possessing. So that is and of rajas. And tamas has its own party. Heedlessness, I don't care, laziness, alasya, sleep, nidra, extreme selfishness, only considering myself. As long as society takes care of me, I don't need to do anything. So cha means all these friends that come with sattva, rajas, and tamas. That's why Bhagavan says, prakasham cha, pravrittim cha, moham eva cha, pandava. Na dveshti sampravrittani, na nivrittani kankshati. So give a few examples. So like I'm in sattva, say I've gone to a spiritual camp, like we go to PRC, we go for a week or 2 weeks, and there are Swamijis there and everybody is listening to lectures and there is bhajans going on and everybody is like-minded. And even when you walk, you are talking about what you heard. And then your mind is in such sattva. I feel so good. And then I come home. Oh, I have to come back to work and my family problems and we wish, oh, why couldn't I? So that is called being dependent, that all the time yes, circumstances are good, but I should create that sattvic atmosphere in my mind and in my house. Going to camps is good, but I should not then get disturbed when it is not there. I should create that in my own mind and create that in my own family. What we do is, when we have likes and dislikes, in a lot of rajas, we become like a beggar, standing in the corner with a tin can. Oh world, can you please give me a little bit of joy? I am so miserable. So then I beg from a little joy from my spouse or from my children or from my job so like a beggar, we are standing on the roadside asking the world to give me happiness. I heard a master say that. He said, I was taught by my mother that tell the world, tell life, bring whatever you can. I am ready for it. I am ready for you. So that attitude, the world will bring us problems, but I am ready and I will take care. Not that you don't take care of that, but do not let problems overwhelm you. Yes, problems, difficulties, changes in life situations will happen. And I deal with them, but I don't get disturbed and I don't expect that the world will give me happiness. I find happiness within. Because whatever is the one moment I'm happy and then it changes. And the next moment, situation will change. And then we say, oh, why is it happening to me? Mere saath kyun ho raha hai? Maybe God is punishing me. Nothing is happening. I am not this body, mind, and intellect. I am that Atma. Whatever happens, let it happen. I am ready for that. See, that is a very beautiful statement. Life, bring whatever you can. I am ready for you. And that is the attitude of a wise person. But what we do is we get influenced by circumstances, by TV. They say, buy this new car and you will be happy. Get this iPhone 14, you will be happy, or this new dress, or this new perfume, or whatever, or go on vacation. And then they will show you this couple in the Bahamas, sitting on the beach. And they are not even true couple. They are actor and actresses who have been brought there just to act like they are married and they are having a great time. And then when I go to Bahamas, with my spouse, and then I don't have that same thing. So I say, "Arey yaar, what was it?" So the world makes all kinds of promises that you do this, you will be happy. And when I don't get it, then I get depressed. And that is the main cause of depression. One of them is that I expect that other people should make me happy or situation. And when they don't, then I get angry, then I get depressed, then I get upset. I heard a very, very beautiful story. It's worth repeating. It's a little long. So there was this spiritual teacher in India. This was around in the early 1960s when, there was no, of course, phones or cell phone, or they were just very ancient phones. And people communicated by letter. So he got a letter from some of his devotees who were in the United States. And they said, "Oh, master, can you come and spend a few weeks with us, give us talks?" So he got on a ship, and in those days, the ships were very rickety. They were old and not very big. And so he gets on this ship, and as he gets closer to Africa, there is a tremendous storm. For 3 days, ship is going from side to side and everybody is nauseous, motion sickness, throwing up. And even the sailors and the captain who are so used to everybody standing on the side of the ship with a brown paper bag, they just can't handle all this. And so this person, one day he's fine, and second morning he wakes up and he says, I need a brown paper bag. I can't take it anymore, my stomach. And then suddenly he remembered his mantra, and he just started chanting. And he says, for 2 hours, I was chanting this mantra and I lost my body consciousness. I went into deep meditation. And 2 hours later, he gets out of meditation. This was in the morning. He's in the corner of his room, this tiny room. He goes to the breakfast and he's the only one. Nobody has come for breakfast. Everybody is either sick or throwing up. And the cook is sitting alone. And this guy says, can you make me my pancakes with, I want syrup, I want strawberries on it, cream on it. And then he's warming his toast with butter and taking potatoes. And that cook said, how is it that you are able to eat and you are asking for all this? What kind of tablets have you taken? He's shocked because this is the only guy who who even had a huge breakfast, much more than he normally has. And while the whole ship is, throwing up. And then he comes to the States, he spends a few weeks meeting his devotees, giving talks. While going back, his devotees say, Master, we don't want you to go in that rickety ship. There was a new ship, Queen Elizabeth, that had just been, chartered and just been made. Huge ship, very stable. And they say, we'll buy you a ticket to go back in that. And so they buy him a nice ticket and he gets a nice room in the Queen Elizabeth ship, and he's going back and the same storm comes and nothing happens to the ship. He asked the captain, how come this ship he said, this ship has stabilizers. No matter how many storms come, nothing happens to this ship. So that's what the teacher says, that have these stabilizers in your life, because life will give you storms. But never forget God, never forget mantra. And when you have these problems, just meditate. Just think about God, chant his name, and you can go beyond all problems. It's the most beautiful story, very powerful. When I read it, I was like, that is the way one should live. That is what is the power of mantra, the power of meditation, and the power of this right knowledge, that is the stabilizer, like what Queen Elizabeth, that ship had. That storms will come, but I am able to maintain my equilibrium. So how does that happen? When a person understands that my true nature is Brahman, and he realizes that problems don't belong to me. At the same time, he has no insistence that things should be the way I want. Like he's sleeping, right? And somebody comes and wakes him up. There is some work to be done. He immediately gets up. Okay, work to be done. It's okay. While you and me, if we are sleeping and somebody wakes us up, we get so mad, first of all. Forget about doing the work. Or a lady who is doing her puja in the puja room, and suddenly her child starts crying because he's not well, and she gets mad. Oh, why can't I? No, it's okay. Bhagavan Shri Krishna can wait. My child is sick. I'll go take care of him. Maybe when he's sleeping in the afternoon, I'll finish my puja, or late morning or in the evening. She does not get disturbed. So that is what happens when we are in sattva. When somebody disturbs us, the ability to be fine under all situations. The other point I had also mentioned last week, it is not a paripraksha bhavna. It's not to look at others and judge others. Oh, this person is very sattvic, this person is rajasic, this person is totally tamasic. I don't know when he will. No, that's not for, these gunas are not to judge others. They are to look within, that am I more sattvic, am I more rajasic, and how can I live in sattva? And then ultimately with the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, And with the grace and blessings of Puja Gurudev and Bhagavan Sri Krishna, how can I go beyond these gunas? How can I also become gunatit? So that is the purpose of studying Bhagavad Gita, that we imbibe these values within us and then bring it into practice. So here we have studied about the lingas. What are the hallmarks of a man of wisdom? Man also includes woman, so don't say why a woman cannot be a woman of wisdom. It is a person of wisdom, individual. Next, he will talk about the achara. How is the conduct? That was Arjuna's second question. Kim achara? How does this person conduct himself or herself in this world? Beautiful, two very beautiful, very practical shlokas today. So we'll do shloka number 23. We'll chant that. Jagrati can please unmute. Udasinavadasinah
उदासीनवदासीनः
gunairyo na vichalyate
गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते
gunavartanta ityeva
गुणावर्तन्त इत्येव
yovatisthati nengate.
योऽवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते.
Together. Udasinavadasinah gunairyo na vichalyate gunavartanta ityeva yovatisthati nengate. So udasinavat. Udasin means as if. You see, udasa in Hindi and Urdu means one who is sad. Are bada udas hai. And there is this Pankaj Udas, so we have this name Udas. Udas means he's very miserable. Here, it is not Udasa, it is Uttasina. We'll talk about that. So it is one who is above, but Udasina what? Like one who is indifferent. He is not truly indifferent, but Udasin what? As though indifferent. Gurudev says very beautifully in his commentary. Actually, Gurudev's commentary on these three shlokas is fairly extensive, so please read it if you haven't read it. But I'll try to cover that and some additional points. So Udasin what? As though indifferent, as though staying above. Asina, he's functioning in the world, but as though unconcerned, as though above the world, as though. That's very important. Not that he doesn't care, but he is apparently indifferent. Gunair yoho, by these gunas, this is the sixth case plural. Gunair yoho yaha, this individual, na vichalyate, does not get disturbed by these gunas. Vichala means to get disturbed, to get moved. Does not get disturbed by these gunas, as though staying above them. And then what does he say? Guna vartanti. Gunas will function. Iti eva. That is how he thinks. That's why even in Bhagavan, in an earliest chapter, he had said, Guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. A wise person knows that gunas will do what they have to do, but he does not get attached. So here he says, Guna vartanti iti eva, because of Sandhi rule, the E is gone. Vartanti iti eva yaha avatisthati. He stays in his self, what Gurudev calls self-centered. Self-centered sometimes can be read as selfish. Here, self-centered, when Gurudev says, what he means is, he is always established in his true nature. He always knows, I am Brahman, I am that. And na ingate, and he never moves from this status of Brahman, his status of wisdom, his status of stability. You and I, for a moment, we go there and then we immediately some problem comes and our mind gets disturbed. So his mind never gets disturbed. Even if it gets disturbed, he very quickly comes back because he knows that I am that. So this is the achara, this is the conduct, which also will do in the couple of other shlokas. Uta asina. Uta means above, asina means sitting. So ut asin becomes udasina because of the sandhi rule. Udasin means he is always above these. Above means does not mean he's not functioning in the world. He doesn't run away from the world. He doesn't go sit in some cave. Some of the Mahatmas do, but a lot of them go out and work, like Pujya Gurudev. He was totally involved in the world, but he was above the world. Even when he was working, he only slept 3 hours at night. He worked 20 hours a day, but his mind was always in Brahman because he was Brahma with. He was a knower of Brahman. So Brahma with Brahma eva bhavati. So watching him, it was like Brahman himself functioning in the world. That's how Pujya Gurudev functioned. But ut asina vat, as though unconcerned. It's not that he's not concerned about others. He's very concerned about others. But when problems come to him, he is not affected. So what happens is that in his life, he does not fluctuate with circumstances. He stays above. And when somebody else is suffering, he has sympathy, love, compassion, all these Mahatmas. When you look at their lives, they had, for themselves, they had no desire that I should get joy, peace. They sacrificed their life for the benefit of mankind. Look at Swami Vivekananda, look at Buddha, look at Jesus, look at Pujya Gurudev, how they tirelessly worked throughout their life for the benefit of others. So that is called Utasin Vat. And Gunairyo vichalyate, guna vartanta iti eva yo vatisthati nengate. So they understand that Prakriti is vyavaharika. Prakriti is what I have to deal with, to function with. But they live in paramarthika. They live in that supreme state of wisdom, oneness with that Brahman. And whatever Prakriti requires, vyavahara, they will do, because they have a right understanding of what their teacher has told him. Whatever the teacher has told him, they clearly understand. So it is the Guru's grace that. So what one says, one should clearly understand. So talking about clearly understand, this man made a friend. He was in his, older gentleman. So he was in the garden. So he made friends with this other guy who used to also come for walks in the garden. And so they had become friends for a year and, quite good friends. And so this friend asks this old man, he says, oh, you are approaching your 50th anniversary next month. He says, yeah. So he says, what did you do for your 25th anniversary? And first he asked, what are you going to do for your 50th? He says, no, tell me, what did you do for your 25th anniversary? So he says, for my 25th anniversary, I took my wife to Italy. He says, wow, that's so good. What are you going to do for your 50th anniversary? He said, I'm going to go and bring her back. So one should know what the guy is saying, what is the exact meaning of what he's saying. So similarly, this wise person knows exactly what the Guru is saying, what the scriptures are saying, and he clearly understands and he clearly follows. And his understanding is that problems belong to who? To the three bodies. Those of you who have done Tattva Bodh, with Sharad, we have this Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and Karana Sharira. That is the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. Gross body is what we see. Subtle body is the mind and intellect. And causal body is this vasanas. We covered that in Tattva Bodh. So this wise person, and what is Atma? He says, Stula, Sukshma, Sharira, beyond that, Vikriyavat, that which is not affected by, that's what Tattva Bodh says, Stula, Atma Kaha, Stula, Sukshma, Sharira, na Vikriyatvat, that which is not affected by this Stula, Sukshma, Karana Sharira, that is Atma. So Tattva Bodh says that. If you haven't If you don't remember, oh, Tattva Bodh we did long time ago. We have forgotten. Please read again. And because we are doing Atma Bodh, but do not forget what Tattva Bodh has taught, because that is the foundation on which all our knowledge of Vedanta is built. So that he understands, and then Gurudev says it very beautifully, that sometimes these people wear a mask of sattva. Like there is a junior official in the government. He's very honest. He never takes bribes. In India, that happens all the time. They say, wow, he's so honest. Why doesn't he take bribes? Because he's not in a position to take bribes. Nobody offers him. But he says, you know what? Meri jab promotion ho jayegi, when I get promoted to that higher post, that guy gives a lot of contracts. And when I get promoted, that's when I will make money. So he's wearing a mask of honesty or civility because he does not have the opportunity. So it does not mean that he really doesn't have the desire, but he does not have an opportunity. So that's what they're saying, that one should be the same, no matter what position I am, no matter what job I am doing. I should never vary from my ideal of honesty, sattva, purity, and so on. And how does this person live in the world? So Gurudev says it very beautifully, like a spectator. Even earlier he said, Nanya Gunebhya Kartaram. So here Gurudev says, just there is a play going on, or there is a movie going on. And as a spectator, see, some of us, when we go to the movie and when the heroine starts, we start crying. When the heroine is happy, we get happy. When the heroine is beating the villain, we get happy. When the villain is beating the heroine, we get sad. But a person who is truly a spectator, he says, ye to movie mein hota rahega. Ultimately the hero alone will beat 25 people and not one of them can touch him, So this will happen. ये छोड़ना क्या, in Marathi they say, ये छोड़त क्या, ना, he is not going to leave, hero तो जीतेगा, 25 people can come, nothing will happen to him. So a true spectator watches the movie, enjoys all the joys and sorrows, and knows it's just a movie. These hero and heroine are paid millions of dollars or lakhs of rupees to do this role. And she's crying, but she's not really sad, and he's not really fighting. It is all a movie. So similarly, you and I, when we see this movie of the world, one should watch it like a movie. That movie mein aayenge, there will be heroes, there will be villains, there will be joys, there will be sorrows. That's why they say, na, Ram jaro ke baith kar jag ka mujra dekh. Sit in the abode of Rama and watch this mujra of this world and enjoy the world. You don't have to suffer, but enjoy the world. And the world means including my body, mind, and intellect. That also is the world. It's not that I am the body, mind, and intellect. I am the owner of this body, and this body, mind, and intellect is as much influenced by the world as everybody else. So knowing that, it will happen. So watch the movie of my body also. Okay, today I have this disease. Tomorrow I have this problem. My mind today has this joy. Tomorrow has this sorrow. But he remains above all that. And so people doesn't say, oh, my mind is so quiet. I am in meditation. I am so peaceful. And then now I have to get up and face that. No, he does not insist on anything. Whatever comes, he is ready to deal with that. And that is called true Vairagya. Vairagya means the world can give me anything, but I am beyond all that. Not that he's not affected, not that as long as we are in this human body, even a realized master we have seen in Puja Gurudev, Ramakrishna Paramhans, they had so many illnesses. Puja Gurudev's heart was slowly, fading from 100%, it became 25%, 15%. Still he was traveling, giving lectures to his last breath, till his heart finally gave out. Ramakrishna Paramhans had this terrible, painful throat cancer where he couldn't eat, he was drooling. But he never asked anything from mother that free me from this cancer. His mind always stayed in her. So these people, they are always stationed in their true self, and they never, and that's what makes them great. That's all these great Mahatmas who have come. It is, and who have become guideposts for us. If we read their lives, read the stories of saints, see how they faced problems, see their teachings, how much material Gurudev has left for us. The Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, all the, Vivek Chudamani commentaries, so many videos, so many art. So listening to him and to these great masters, and now on YouTube, you can get beautiful talks by so many wonderful acharyas of Chinmaya Mission. A lot of these talks I listen on video or on YouTube, and I prepare, the Upanishads and all. So we have all this available to us to study and to try and live that. And that should be our goal. That should be the purpose of studying this knowledge. There is so much information available on the internet. It is up to us. What do we pick? Am I going to spend my life in this bit? Or am I going to worry about politics, about who is killing whom? And yeah, little bit one needs to know politics. You need some entertainment, to watch some movie or some show. But I should gradually spend more and more time in sattvic knowledge. And even when I go on the internet, be choosy of what I do. So that is the purpose of studying this knowledge. So here in shloka number 23, we see that this individual is not affected by gunas and knows that gunas will bother him and bother the world. But avatishtati, he stays in his knowledge and never moves from this knowledge. Now the next shloka will tell us how this individual deals with situations and people. See, one problems come from within, come from me, physical, mental. One come from the world. This person gives me problem, or this situation gives me problem, or I don't like this person and I have problems. So now it is how he deals with people and with situations. That is shloka number 24. Sama dukkha sukha swasthaha.
Sama dukkha sukha swasthaha.
Samaloštashma kanchanaha.
Samalostasya kanchanaha.
Tulya priya priyo dhiraha.
Tulya priya priyo dhiraha.
Tulya nindatma samstutihi.
Tulya nindatma samstutihi.
Together. Sama dukkha sukha swasthaha. Samaloštashma kanchanaha. Tulya priya priyo dhiraha. Tulya nindatma samstutihi. So the important thing is tulya. Tulya means balanced. Tula, we say that which measures. So this is tulya. He is balanced. Where is he balanced? Sama. Sama is another word. Sama means the same. That is in English became same. Same means sama. He is the same. He is not much deviated by dukkha and sukha. See, for us, that is the problem. Dukkha aya to are, I am so down. Sukha aya to, oh, I am up in the sky. There is nobody as great as me. And then when the bubble bursts and we come down to the ground, oh, what happened? I was so famous. I was doing so well. Why is this problem come? So why is he beyond dukkha and sukha? Swasthaha. He is firmly established in the self, swasthaha, in his true nature. We will talk about that. And sama, and for him, it is the same. What? Loshta. Loshta means a piece of mud. Ashma means a stone. And Kanchana means gold. He says, what? He doesn't know the difference between mud and stone and gold? Are, what kind of a guy is he? Does he thinks they are the same? Gold and stone and mud? Yes, we will talk about that. He is the same. Whether mud comes, gold comes, stone comes, he is the same. And tulya, and he is balanced in priya and apriya. So somebody who says, oh, you are so dear to me, I love you and I can't live without you. Oh, that's good. Not that he's not affected, but he does not let it overwhelm him. Or somebody says, I hate you, I can't stand you. He doesn't say, oh, gets angry. Yeah, for a moment he may get disturbed, but very quickly comes back. Like that doll, you push it down and she immediately comes back up because there is a big base. Children always play with that doll. You push it down, it comes back up. So similarly, circumstances may put him down, but he's very quickly able to come back, pull Priya and Apriya, those who love him and hate him. Why? Because he is a Dhira. Dhira is the same thing. Guna, Tita, Jnani, Yogi, all those that we have, Sthita, Prajna, all those. So here Bhagavan calls him Dhira. Dhira means one whose buddhi is firmly established in that higher truth. Anatulya Ninda Atma Samstuti. And he is the same if somebody criticizes him, Ninda or Atma Samstuti, or they praise him. So either there is self-criticism or self-praise, he is the same. How can we be that? So we'll discuss that. So first is emotions. How can he be the same in all emotions? Because whatever has come will go. And the same thing may be giving sorrow to me, but will be giving a joy to another. How do you say that? So I remember this beautiful incident where this man had built this beautiful house with a very nice view. He spent a lot of time and money. He put all his money in it, bought loan and mortgage. And he lived in this house for only 2 years. It was his dream house. He loved it. And he had personally furnished it and built it and did so much of the, wallpaper and all. And he loved that house. And then he lost his job. He got into financial trouble. So he had to sell the house. And that was the house of his dreams. He had personally built it. And he was so sad, but he had no choice. So he puts it on the market. And when the buyer comes, he says, I love this house. And he immediately makes him an offer. And the realtor, and when the buyer is touring this house, the seller is sitting there and he's so sad. He's so angry. You can see in his face, he doesn't want to sell the house. He's forced to sell. And that buyer is so happy. Wow, this is the house of my dreams. It has this nice view. Okay, you're asking this price. I'm paying the full price. So that same house is giving sorrow to one individual and giving extreme joy. So one should understand that anything that gives me joy can give me sorrow. The same house, which for 2 years gave him so much joy, is now giving him so much sorrow because he has to leave it, move to a small apartment because he has lost his job. He can't. So one who is swasthaha, swasthaha means centered in the self and knows that I am the self, then this person doesn't get disturbed. Situations are never going to be the same. And one should be ready, as I said in the beginning of the talk. This person tells life, bring whatever you want, I am ready. And that is the man of wisdom, that life will bring us changes, will bring us difficulties, but I am not going to be disturbed. And I'm not going to say, why is Bhagavan doing it? He does not love me. No, it is all life's changes. That is the nature of life. Samsarati iti samsara. That which is constantly changing is samsara. As long as you are living in this samsara and you have this body, mind, and intellect, samsarati, it will keep on changing. And this person understands that problems all belong to Prakriti, belong to the nature, do not belong to me because I am that. So he says, how does he deal when sorrows come? I was listening to one commentary. He says, when sorrow comes, he says, oh, Mr. Sorrow, you are here. Come, sit down. Can I get you some tea and coffee? What can I bring you? He welcomes sorrow. So sorrow says, ye kya aadmi hai? He's welcoming me, he leaves. He says, I cannot affect this fellow. I thought he will start crying. He is getting happy. And when joy comes, he ignores it. He says, joy, I don't care for you. TK, you are there is fine, but I am not. Joy says, this guy is not welcoming me. He's not, I will stay here to make sure that this. So he knows sorrow will come, he welcomes that. Joy comes, he welcomes. Joy leaves, he's fine. Na engate. It is not disturbed. And he is same in dukkha and sukha. That's why there is this beautiful bhajan. Guru kripa pai mere sai Rama bina kachu dekhat nahi. This is the most beautiful bhajan. He says, it is my Guru's kripa and O Sai and God's kripa that I see nothing except Ram. I see Ram everywhere. When I look out of my window, I only see Bhagwan. When I look when I'm sitting here around, everything is Ram, everything is Bhagwan. When I see people, that's why Tulsi Das just says, Siya Ram mein sab jag jani, karahu pranam, jori jugapani. He says, whoever I see them as Sita and Ram. So I do pranams to all. I bow down to all because there is nobody I can hate. If I hate somebody, I'm hating my dear Ram and Sita. And also I do not excessively love all because they are all one. So, but you and I, what is our problem? We suffer from the disease of Dvaita Darshana. Dvaita Darshana means seeing two, duality. I and this person. This is mine and this is yours. And I like you and I don't like you. And I want this and I don't. That is called Dvaita. But when you see everything as Bhagavan, then there is no duality. So instead of Dvaita Darshan, we should have Advaita Darshan, that there is only one appearing as all these. So these are all names and forms. Does not mean that he does not recognize the names and forms, but he knows that they are all God. Is there somebody that is a person is as good as dead? You know, joy is happening, he's not affected. Is he like a statue? You know, like a statue, and they honor the statue, put lying in the street square, and they put garland. And next day a bird comes and sits on the statue's head and does what birds do. The statue is not affected, right? So he says, so is this person like a statue? Is he dead? No. What is dead is his ego. That's what Gurudev says. His ego is dead, but he is more alive to his true nature. Then they say, Sama Loshta Ashma Kanchana. So whether you give him a piece of mud or you give him a stone or you give him the gold, he does not know the difference. For you and me, gold, yeah, we must have. Stone and mud, it's okay if we don't get. But this wise person knows that each one has its place. Like when you want to grow something, can you use stone or gold? You want to grow a plant? No, you need mud. So the mud has its own value. All our tulsi plants and rose and all the fruits and flowers. You need a fertile ground. And if you want to make a building, you need ashma, you need stone. You can't use mud and you can't use gold. You can't make a house out of gold. And gold has its own value, but he does not give too much value. Like even these Swaminis of Chinmaya Mission, they don't wear any gold. They don't wear any jewelry. They just wear orange. But when they are head of a mission, they know that money is required to build this building. But when money comes, they don't keep it for themselves. They say it is all Gurudev's. It belongs to the mission. And so they know the value of money, but money is not for themselves. They don't use it to build a big house and get property and all. Whatever comes is for the benefit of all, for the benefit of the mission. So it's not that he doesn't know the difference between mud and stone and gold, but he knows that each of them, gold means wealth, property. He knows that each one has its place and let it be in its place. He does not get excessively attached to any of those. He doesn't say, I must have more gold, more money, more wealth. No, whatever is needed, Bhagwan will send. That's what if you look at the lives of great Mahatmas, whether it was Tukaram, Narsi Mehta, when they needed, Bhagwan sent Narsi Mehta for his daughter's wedding. Tukaram, when he had no food for his family, Bhagwan provides. That's why he says in Gita, Yoga Kshema Vaham Yaham, 9th chapter we did, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, Ye Jana Pariyupasate, Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam, Yoga Kshema Vaham Yaham. One who always thinks about me and does his work, then I become his caretaker. Then I become his assistant. I take care of him. He doesn't have to worry about his own, where will my food come from? Is that I provide, I become his agent. That's what Bhagavan says. I do his work because he is doing my work, then I make sure that he doesn't lack anything. And then praise and criticism, how does this person deal with? He knows that one who is praising me today, tomorrow will start criticizing him. Is that ठीक है? Praise कर रहा है, that's very good. Criticize कर रहा है, that's also good. Means he does not get over elated when somebody praises him. When somebody praises him, he says, it's all Bhagwan's grace. It's all my Guru's grace, the Lord's grace. When somebody criticizes, he says, maybe there is something in me that is wrong, which is being criticized. So he looks within. And if it is not justified criticism, he says, okay, what can I do? In the world, there will be always people who love you and who hate you, who praise you and he criticize you. That's why he says, Tulya Priya Apriya. Those who love and hate him, those who praise and criticize him, he remains the same. And we have here a lot of people who write their biography, autobiography, and publish books and all. That is good, but all of that is of Prakriti, of my body, mind, and intellect, is not of me because I am the self. So yes, if people have written about me or I have written about myself, that's good, but that is all of the BMI. It is not of me, the self. So that's what we'll end here today, that the same ideas Bhagwan is repeating with different focus and with different emphasis and with different situations. The ideas are getting subtler, as like in the 14th chapter, a lot of these ideas are very subtle, which we'll see next week also. The ideas are becoming more advanced. In the 2nd and 3rd chapter, he was talking to Arjuna at the very basic level, but now he's talking at a more subtle level, especially in the 15th chapter. The ideas are very, very beautiful, which will be starting in 2 weeks. So we'll end here. We have finished 3 shlokas about what are the symbols, how can you recognize this person, and how does this person work in the world in the face of adversities and good things. So our time is up, 12 o'clock. We have enough time to discuss if anybody has any questions, comments, anything you would like.
Guruji has given is effortlessness is the nature of the man of wisdom, that he does everything with no effort is required. He just does it without.
Yeah, so that's what Gurudev says. Effortlessness is the hallmark of the man of wisdom. He does not get strained, he does whatever, because he see, you and I take a lot of strain because it's my work. If it doesn't happen, I'll be happy, I'll be unhappy. He says it's all God's work. If it's meant to work, if God wants it, it will happen. If it doesn't, I put my best, but without strain, without any personal strain and stress. So effortlessness is the hallmark of the man of wisdom. Puja Gurudev says that in his commentary. So thank you, Niru, for pointing that. Anybody else has any comments, any questions? Satish Bhai, anything you would like to add?
Well, a couple of small things. One is that I see parallel between the Sthita Prajna and a Guna Atit.
Who?
Right? They both have similar qualities. They both have similar qualities. Right?
Right.
And the other thing is that, we talked about sorrows and the joys in life. What my personal experience is, I learned from sorrows only. I did actually, joys don't teach me much. As a matter of fact, I think joys can lead you to, more desires, jealousy, and egoistic tendencies. Whereas sorrows make you stop and think,
Mhm.
and it takes you inward. That's my experience. I don't know what you think of that.
No, that's so true. That's why Kunti used to tell Bhagavan Sri Krishna, give me sorrow. Don't give
Yes.
me joy, because in sorrow only I remember you. In joy I forget.
सुख में
Right.
दुख में सुमिरन सब करे, सुख में करेगा।
Yeah.
जब
Sukmakar,
दुख में
right.
ध्यान करे।
So
Yeah,
we
दुख में
only
सुमिरन
remember,
सब करें, सुख में करे न कोई। जो
Right.
सुख में सुमिरन करे तो दुख काहे को होए. Kabir
Right.
Das ji says it very beautiful. That's so true.
Right.
Thank you, Satish Bhai. Anything else?
and the sattva guna, we strive for that, but it can be a real attachment to be in sattva, like you indicated. It disturbs you, and I have experienced that when you are not in sattva, it disturbs you that why was I not in sattva for the last 3 hours? It really binds you. It really truly binds you if you're not careful.
Right. That's true. That's why they say swastha, be established in the self.
That's
I
right.
am the self, and
Correct.
this BMI will go through its sattva, rajas, and tamas. As long as I am in this
Correct.
body, I have to go through all of them.
Yes.
Even an enlightened master has to go through all. So
Right.
swastha, that's why Bhagavan says, swasmin sthata means in his true nature he is stationed. Seventh case,
Yes.
swasmin sthata. That's sthita. Swasmin sthita is called swastha. That's what Bhagavan uses that word. Thank you. Kusum,
But
anything else you have? Anything else you have from Gurudev's?
I think Gurudev has done such a marvelous job, so we should all read 22, 23, 24, 25, all of them.
Yes.
The commentaries are so beautiful, out of this world. And the question 22 is the answer to the first question of Arjuna, which he asked in 21.
Right.
And I think 23, 24, 25 is the answer of the second question. And
Yes.
sloka number 26 will be the answer to the third, how you go beyond.
How to go.
And also this one is very beautiful that Gurudev said that be like a lighthouse, that nothing should happen to you, not like a boat which goes up and down with the life's changes. So equanimity and balance with the mind is so important, and then we can reach to all these gunas, go beyond that gunas. And one more thing I like to say is in the sloka number 22, second last paragraph, he says it so beautifully that this person, this man of perfection, has gained everything, has nothing to see from everything, and gives example of a millionaire finding a coin on the street, and it wouldn't happen, he wouldn't be greatly overjoyed or anything, but the poor person finding that will be very joyful, because a person with perfection has already gained that, so nothing else really matters to him, any objects or any things or any circumstances or anything at all. I thought that was very hitting example that Gurudev gave.
Yes.
A lot of things to really on this to comment, but its
Right.
reading is much, much worth. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Kusum. Yeah, Gurudev has spent several pages on these shlokas. So yeah, it is worth reading. Commentary. What one should do is either before the Gita class read it or after the Gita class. But either way, the commentary must be read. So that will. Lata, you have anything to ask? Anything to add?
What is the difference between Sthita Prajna and Gunatit, and why
Same.
it's used at different places?
No, it is the
It's
same.
the significance of it.
It is the same. It is called by different names. Called Sthita Prajna means who is established in his prajna, his wisdom. There he's talking about wisdom, sthita prajna, established in the wisdom. Here, gunatit means beyond gunas, he
Guna.
has gone. Then some places he's called as jnani, one who has this knowledge. In the 6th chapter, he's called as yogi, one who has done dhyana yoga and become established. So depending on the chapter, depending on the situation, different names are used, but the ultimate definition is similar, but
Okay.
with slight differences,
Okay.
according to the chapter, according to also the student's thinking, how the student has grown. So Bhagwan, and also he's giving some different characteristics, and some ideas are being repeated because you and I very quickly forget. Like if I myself think, okay, what was in the 13th chapter or what was in the 12th, we don't remember.
No.
So repetition, forget about what was in 2nd chapter and 4th chapter and 6th chapter, because these ideas were given in 2nd chapter, 4th chapter, 6th chapter, 3rd chapter, but we don't remember, and Bhagavan knows that we have forgotten. So he repeats. It's not that, oh, we have already heard it. We have forgotten. And by repeating, this knowledge becomes pakka, becomes firm in our head.
And I like the different terms used at different places. It's very nice, very uplifting. And you said that it's a continuous reminder.
Right.
And people like us, we do need that for sure.
I think
Thank you.
also it is. I think also it is in 2nd chapter. Arjuna was a new student, so Lord Krishna is giving out the highest philosophy. But of course, Arjuna didn't understand at that time, just like us too. So, but then as it progresses further, he gives more practical aspect to this theory to say how you can achieve it too. First, he just said the theory. So I think that's why you're repeating so many questions and so many theories at each level as you grow until we reach 18th chapter, where everything is completely summarizes the whole thing. So I think that's theory and practical aspect.
Yes.
I think so.
Good. No, thank you. That's so correct. Okay, thank you very much. We'll do the Aarti. Jagu can please do the Aarti. Neeru and I will chant. Om na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kuto yam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. बोलिए श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय, श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. Now we'll do Gurudev Aarti. आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की दिव्य रूप मूर्ति करुणा की. आरती सद्गुरु की, चरणों में उनके शांति समाए. शरणागत की भ्रांति मिटाए. पाप ताप संताप हरण की. आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की. आरती सद्गुरु की. वेद उपनिषद गीता को गाया. धर्म सनातन फिर से जगाया. शुद्ध नीति प्रीति शंकर की. आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की. आरती सद्गुरु की. सिद्ध बाड़ी की तपो भूमि में नित्य विराजे गुरु हमारे. भक्त हृदय आनंद श्रोत्र की. आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की. आरती सद्गुरु की. आरती सद्गुरु की. बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. All please take the Aarti. Thank you very much. We'll do the closing prayer. Kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai Narayanayeeti samarpayami. Narayanayeeti samarpayami. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Sarve santu niramayaha.
Sarve
Bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om asato ma satgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you very much. Hari Om. See you next Sunday.